got new discoveries for the pyramids. You know, it's always something going on over there. Apparently, there's megastructures beneath the Great Pyramids of Giza. Is that right, Giza? I don't want to fuck this up, and people be like, "Hey."
Giza.
All right, yeah. That geography and history sometimes be leaving me, so it's cool. I mean, technology, math, all of that shit. That's me. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, I kind of found this shit interesting, man. Let's get right into it. No introductions.
Pyramids. Dude, this new pyramid shit that's just come out?
Oh, this is insane. Yeah, I was going to send this to you as well, Jamie. I'll
Slide
send
over a
you
little bit.
one of the most comprehensive breakdowns of it on X because it's quite stunning. So apparently, through the use
You
of
come back to the
LiDAR,
middle a
they have
little bit.
discovered that there are enormous structures underneath the Great Pyramid that go kilometers deep into the earth with coils. So enormous pillars, and then these coils. They don't understand what it is because they're just looking at LiDAR images. But whatever this is,
How you know it's
a
coils?
uniform structure. There's several
Right.
pillars, and all of this is like very, very, very weird.
Yeah, it's 600 meters descending down those cylinders, and then there's more stuff below it, and then there's
Yeah.
additional structures inside of it. Yeah, that was crazy.
It's really crazy.
Bro, that's
Yeah.
There's a guy,
fucking
Jay
crazy,
Anderson,
yo.
and he did
Taller than the
breakdown of
tallest
it. Maybe this would be good.
structure
We can
on the
play
earth.
this. It makes
That's
a little more
crazy.
sense.
Bro, so let's put this shit into context then. The pillars underneath the pyramids are 600 meters.
Yeah.
So 600 meters, what's that? Almost 2,000 feet.
Something like that.
That's like 1,800 feet. I'm just taking a shot at it. Somewhere between 18 and 2,000. Cool. Then they said it's megastructures that's holding the pillars up. Not only that it's just pillars, there's a spiral. There are spirals around the pillars. And they learned this from
Right.
LiDAR. And these
Yep.
pillars are in a uniform structure as if they are holding this thing up. Bro, what the fuck have we been told this whole time if this shit seems to be true? Because all you got to do is dig. At this point, let's just dig.
It's big. I think they already knew.
I think the Egyptian government definitely knew. Because,
Yeah.
one, what is it? Whatever his name is, the one that controls the narrative for Egypt.
Yeah.
He got caught stealing artifacts in like
Yeah.
2016 or some shit like that. So he's not as trustworthy as people think. And he's one of the people that
fact.
shot down Graham Hancock's theories about those structures being way older than what they were.
Mhm.
And for me, I'm just like, I'm not gonna discount the theory because you know it could be true. And he was just writing that shit off. And eventually they got cool, but he used to be a sleazeball. So yeah, let's get back to this, man.
When someone's explaining it to you.
Well, yeah, I mean, we need
But
somebody that's
it's-
an expert here, not me and you.
Zahi Hawass, by the way, has said it's nonsense.
Zahi Hawass.
So I don't know.
Already?
Yes.
It's nonsense.
According to Graham Hancock. This is the wonderful thing about having Graham
I texted
Hancock's
Graham
test-
yesterday. I was like, yeah, what's going on with this?
Yeah. So click on that and go full screen, please.
Is
Dun, dun, dun. I love the music. And geometry, so you know it's real.
You got to appreciate the dramatic intro.
Project Unity.
what has just been announced in relation to the pyramids at the Giza plateau and the plateau itself is so incredible, so awe-inspiring and narrative shattering that I have been sitting here for the last hour trying to wrap my head around the implications of what we were just told. So this is
Bro, you know what's funny? It's us inside the boxes of those niggas inside the boxes of the video that I was actually trying to find.
Oh,
that's the crazy part about this whole reaction. But let's keep going.
It's pretty much
Reaction to a
breaking
reaction
news because
video.
the new findings
Exactly.
were announced
Yeah, that's
on
all
the
the news
16th
is
of March
reaction
at a press
video.
conference held by the team who was studying the Great Pyramid of Giza with a non-invasive technology that was first developed by Filippo Bionde and Corrado Malanga,
So they're
called
explaining
synthetic
LiDAR.
aperture radar Doppler tomography.
Fuck, that's a
This
mouthful.
was used
Ooh.
to explore the internal
Chiropractor
structure
talk.
of the Great Pyramid of Giza. And this method leverages the analysis of micro movements typically generated by background seismic activity to achieve a high-resolution, full 3D tomographic imagery of the pyramid's interior and subsurface
Come on,
components.
man, spit it out.
The recent findings from deploying this technology are nothing short of mind-blowing, because what's been discovered is that there are huge structures coming down from the base of the pyramid deep into the bedrock. In fact, over 600 meters deep, which then connects to structures that extend up to 2 kilometers below the surface of the
And-
ground.
and
2
that's-
kilometers. Massive internal structures
That's where the
connected to
problem
the
is.
base of the
2
pyramid
kilometers
and
below the
extending
bedrock.
deep down.
Yeah.
This is what we know so far.
What does your friend think about it?
Which friend?
The one.
I'm glad they stopped
Yeah.
there.
That shit taller than the Burj Khalifa and shit.
I'm glad they stopped it there. I'm so glad they
Talking of
stopped
pyramid-
it
Information like that, that shit, challenge religion.
there. Right.
Yep.
The
That's
Great
going
Pyramid
to
at Giza.
make no okay, like, so aliens did really build that shit.
And you see, now we talking. We not just sitting here talking about, oh shit, oh they lied to. Now we getting somewhere. Like this find could predate so many other megastructures now. It's already gonna predate religion
Mm.
in
Exactly.
probably most like areas of the world. So now we gotta rewrite all of the history books. And don't nobody feel
that
like
shit
doing all of that.
Roy. Yeah. And nobody gonna want to hear about no religion no more and shit like, no, that's
Man, yo, this shit is gonna be crazy. And I see why he's
Yeah.
trying to block that shit out, because now, like,
Yeah.
it won't all crumble now, but you'll start to look around and think, all right, well, how did that shit get here then? How did this get like that?
Exactly. You're gonna start asking questions and shit. You're gonna start questioning the information you was brought up on and shit. So
And people are already starting to think about, like, all right, now the Great Flood. Well,
exactly.
if this is the top of the structure, then what the
Mhm.
how the fuck did we get to the point where this is the top of the structure?
Exactly.
What
The mud and shit.
Yeah, so it's
Mud
like a lot
slide
of
and shit
crazy
like
ass
that.
conspiracies being piled onto this shit. And
And they start thinking about Tartarian and shit like that.
exactly, and all I'm gonna say is we should start digging pretty soon. So just to cut all of that shit out. All right, well, yeah. All right, so here's Billy Carson talking about the true purpose of the Great Pyramids, and he's giving his theories on it. But this predates every video the video that we just watched by a few months. So for y'all looking at it, this was probably like a year ago. But this is saying that he already had an idea that the pyramids weren't tombs for pharaohs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's get into it.
Giza and that plateau is a multifunctional platform or plateau.
He
The
get
Great
right
Pyramid is a
into it.
multifunctional stone computer, number one. It used to be a power generator, so it generated power. As the
Yeah.
water used to flow underneath it from the Nile, it's now meandered very, very far away.
He was
But back
right.
then, it ran right up to the pyramid, and the empty tubes have actually been inside of underneath the pyramid are still there where the water used to flow. When you have running water underneath crystal magnetized granite, you create something called physiostatic electricity.
Bro, he was
Those
right the
ions
whole
rush
time.
up into the chamber,
Okay.
and they would go into the Grand Gallery. The Grand Gallery used to have resonating rods. Now, the rods are been removed, but the slots where they went up the Grand Gallery are still there till this very day. Then that energy would be pushed into the King's Chamber, which you've been in with me, right? We meditated in there. Inside the King's Chamber, now that area is like a fusion chamber, and the energy would shoot up through the top, through the apex, and now you have wireless energy. Nikola Tesla tapped into the same exact understanding of how that worked and duplicated it with the Wardenclyffe Tower. Now that wireless energy would transmit around the area, and the crystal granite obelisks would capture it. And then if you had something called a JED, a DJED, it looks almost like a Tesla coil with a cable coming out of it. You'll see it in Egyptian hieroglyphs. It's connected to light bulbs and other technologies, electric gold plating. You can then power it wirelessly from the ambient electricity that's been transmitted from miles away from the Great Pyramid. That's just one purpose.
All right, we're going to stop it at one purpose real quick. And in that one purpose, he just kind of explained everything that they were just talking about in the last video, where this shit is a power plant. And bodies have been, I believe bodies have been found, but they weren't like, actually, no, I don't think any bodies were found in the pyramids. Like I said, I'm not the history buff here, so don't fucking crucify me on this. You can take that shit up with Billy Carson and Zahi and all of them niggas, man. Like, yeah, seriously. But, it do, like, kind of lend itself to saying, like, these niggas were right the whole time, so what are they really covering up?
Exactly.
Who are you in contact with for you to cover this?
They covering up free energy, you know. So, they want us to pay for electricity. It's a money thing and shit.
Yeah, I believe JP, that goes so much deeper than just that shit just goes so much deeper than just a money thing, bro, because the money thing is just to keep niggas enslaved. Money don't really mean nothing.
Yeah. Exactly.
So like while we out here chasing money, hey, day trade, I'm gonna get money all day. Money phone.
Exactly.
Nigga, like,
it don't really mean nothing.
It
like,
don't mean shit. So if we really,
like we paying for shit that's free.
If we really talking about it, nigga, let's talk about it. Like we really paying for shit that's free. And
like
now that
the energy is already free.
Exactly. And now that we sitting here, like really realizing like if this shit could be true, if this shit is true, then that means every other pyramid might have been the same exact way, and everybody, every other culture on this planet knew about that. Then where the fuck was that lost? Is my point.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Like,
and then it's like, let's use that technology. Like, let's get the free energy. Then the government's gonna be tested and shit.
JP
like, oh no, the people's uprising and shit.
JP Morgan gonna kill that shit.
He gonna blow up. He gonna send a nuke to the pyramids and shit.
JP Morgan the one to stop Tesla from giving the world free energy.
Yeah, he did.
He said, wait,
you
can't. Yeah, like, wait, you can't measure that shit? Oh, no. We can't.
We can't get money off that. Nah.
Yeah, that's literally how that worked. But let's get back to it, man. I don't want to keep cutting.
Another purpose. When you look at the way that the Great Pyramid is designed in the Queen's Chamber, and then you have the King's Chamber, well, water was set to rush down and into the Queen's Chamber, and with the chemistry and also the metallics down there, you can see how there would be some form of electrolysis that would occur. And I'm not the only one that has this hypothesis. Engineer Christopher Dunn had the same exact hypothesis as me. I just found out about maybe a month ago when I finally talked to him on my podcast. So this electrolysis would extract hydrogen from the oxygen, the H2O, and then you have a hydrogen chamber. So now what's interesting about that, the way it's connected to the shafts that lead up into space, when you look at the pyramid alignment with the stars on certain millennial alignments, you find out that it aligns with Orion, it aligns with Aldebaran, it aligns with Pleiades, it aligns all these star systems. And what is the frequency that we transmit information on right now from a standpoint of trying to connect with ET? We transmit on the hydrogen frequency because it's the most widely abundant frequency in the universe. So I believe in my hypothesis, I always say hypothesis versus what I read, is that these shafts will shoot the hydrogen beams out towards those stars on certain particular alignments, with information, data encoded into the hydrogen. In other words, an update on this breakaway civilization. It was a
It's like
communications
data transfer,
device,
yeah.
long-range communications to other stars. And then it also is a star map. When you look down at Giza from above, you see the Great Pyramid, the other two pyramids, and you see the temples around. And you can actually connect those with lines and then make circles, concentric circles. You'll get the interplanetary map of our solar system. You'll get the sun in the middle, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and you'll even get Mars. And when you take the NASA map of our solar system and you overlay it, it matches down to the millimeter. That's crazy. It even matches to the astronomical unit, which is the distance from the Earth to the sun. That's a measurement unit to count distances in the vastness of space. So how can this be done? Somebody had super advanced foreknowledge. Then the Great Pyramid itself it's in the center of the Earth, not the center of the Earth in particular being the center like the navel, but it's in the center of landmass of the Earth. Now, in order to do that, you have to have a satellite, but not any kind of satellite. If we were going to duplicate that today, we would have to have a polar orbiting satellite. It would have to orbit the planet this way, and as the planet spins on its axis, it would take swaths of data. It would calculate the total amount of mass and pinpoint this is the center of landmass. The next thing is the height of the Great Pyramid is the average height of all the peaks on the planet Earth. So again, you need a polar orbiting satellite, and you have to scan every single peak and mountain that exists on the planet. Then you got to do some simple math to divide it all and come up with the average height and say, okay, that's the height we want to build it to. This whole thing was left behind as a gigantic time capsule for us to unwind and be like, holy crap, these people were amazing. You know, I mean, they had everything calculated and built into this for the time when you and I come to figure it out. And Thoth in the Emerald Tablet says, builded I the Great Pyramid patterned after Earth's force, so that it too might remain through the ages. This is Hermes Trismegistus, 3 times born. Hermes and Thoth are the same exact person. You find that they have many names in different time periods. But he says he built the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx. He claims that he's the master architect and the bringer of thought and the bringer of alchemy and chemistry, which is why that place was called Kemet. Chemistry and alchemy come out of there. And he went around the world duplicating that. He goes to Mesoamerica, which is now South America, and he builds Teotihuacan in Mexico, right? That pyramid there has the same exact base as the Great Pyramid. Okay, that's the blueprint. Exactly 50% the height as the Great Pyramid. Built on top of an aquifer, all 6 pyramids both aligned with Orion. So you see again, the master architect at his work again. These things aren't coincidences. Most of the megalithic structures are on the 33rd degree parallel of the Earth.
They are.
Why the 33rd degree parallel?
Yeah.
When you look at the Earth's energetic grid and you see the magnetic fields whipping out of the planet, you see these huge swaths of magnetic fields coming out of these areas where all these megalithic sites are located.
Stonehenge, Göbekli Tepe, all the fucking pyramids, Machu Picchu, like all of these megalithic places where, you know, I don't even know if you can feel the energy there, but they just align with the stars and the planets. Like that shit has some kind of, it's like a ringing effect once you kind of tune a bell. Exactly. You know what I mean? It's like tuning like a bell or something like that.
That's the frequency of the planet,
Natural fucking frequency of the universe. Like once you tune the planet right. That's what it sounds like. Like once we got the structures correct, we were able to tap into the natural frequency of the universe. And that's able to give us universal energy. Now, if I'm right, I need some aliens to fly down this bitch right now and let me know.
It's the golden age. Like, once you tap into that universal energy, that's when you tap into the golden age era. So.
Exactly. Like, so for me, I'm just sitting here thinking like, all right, so if that's the case, then when the hell did everybody leave? Like, what happened? Because something happened 12,000 years ago. We all know it was 10 to 12,000 years ago. Everybody knows that.
Pole shit.
How long do you think a pole shift takes?
A half a day to destroy everything.
So you think if we had a pole shift today, now that we're getting off of this topic, but we'll get back onto Billy Carson in a second. You think if we had a pole shift today, that it would take 12 hours to flip poles, not the planet, but the poles. The planet will go after the poles flip. Are we clear on that?
Okay, for the poles to flip, it takes years. Because the poles is shifting right now. The poles is moving towards Siberia, I think.
Yeah, the poles are always
slowly
moving.
Yeah, they always moving. So for the flip, I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I think we on that timeline for the flip to happen.
Yeah, because the circle that it's moving in is getting wider by every year. And so now the wobble is getting so wide that it could actually flip. But what
they
I'm
say
saying,
it can happen any minute, but yeah.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, right, do you think the pole flip would be the planets flipping and rolling? Now we where South America are, I mean, well, we where, South Africa is and freaking the Amazon is where Russia is. You think we would spin out of whack?
Yeah, I think so. Because once that pole flip, the ocean's gonna kind of fuck up and shit, and it's going to floods them. All the water gonna fucking shift to the land and shit.
Like a bathtub. Yeah. Okay, yeah, like a bathtub.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Because I did see something like I looked up over a pole shift, but what I'm thinking is the poles are gonna flip more instantly than the planet will. I don't think it's gonna be like like if that shit happened in 12 hours, everybody on this planet would die.
Yeah.
Only because that's too much mass moving at once for it to happen in 12 hours. Like, the last time something like that happened, like the fucking comet hit the like we created the moon. You know what I mean? Like that size comet hit the Earth. For the planet to actually spin on its axis that way. So I'm like, cool. I wasn't there for that, nigga, so I don't really know that. But I'm just thinking about the energy it takes to move a planet. I think it would take a lot more magnetism to have to pull those poles in each direction. I think the poles would shift and they would lock on to the new pole. So like the magnetism would shift, not the actual planet. I think we would still spin out of whack, but I don't think it would, like, we would be in the lower hemisphere or anything like that, is what I'm saying. Like, we not going to...
You know, they got a CIA document on that shit called The Story of Adam and Eve, talking about it happened before, it will happen again. Talking about the pole shifts.
Yeah, and I agree with the pole shift. I just think it would take so much more time for the planet to just flip.
Yeah. You don't think it's going to be like cataclysm and shit?
I think it will be, but what we thinking is it's going to be 2012 all over the world at once. What I'm thinking is the pole's going to shift. We're probably not going to know for at least 5 to 10 years. But shit is going to be happening in that 5 to 10 years where it's like, yo, shit is getting, the winters are getting colder, summers are getting hotter. Oh shit, why is the summer suddenly starting to get, why is it cold? And like, we'll just start to notice different shit. I don't think the pole shifting is going to make the planet just suddenly lock or just start doing crazy shit. Not like right away.
Yeah.
I do think we are going to get that slosh back effect, though, with the oceans and, but I just don't think it'll be, pole shift. All right, here we go. Hold on to something. Like, I don't think it's going to be like
the plates, earthquakes and shit.
Yeah.
So that's one, too. Pole shift gonna cause a lot of earthquakes, and California might be an island and shit.
California going under. So California going under, Louisiana, Alabama,
Miami,
Florida, all of Florida going under, parts of Georgia going under, Eastern Shore is going under, Delaware, some of Jersey, I think Manhattan, Long Island, that whole fucking thing is gonna flood, wash over. So, like, yeah.
It's gonna be new land. Yep, all that. New island's gonna rebuild itself.
But see, that's another thing though. Like I would have to look at a little more of that again to see. All right, but let's finish this last 6 minutes out. We can kind of keep going on that shit.
How did they know this? What kind of technology did they use to detect these magnetic fields, and how did they utilize them in the construction process? All a lot of big time question marks, but it's just amazing.
Just thinking at the level of intelligence civilization or group of people would need to have to make the decision to devote so many resources to craft something that is so cosmologically, geometrically, mathematically aligned on so many different accounts, right? You just gave a few, but there's like there's hundreds of different.
No, we not in tune enough.
Not like that.
Not in tune enough to build the pyramids. I think we gave up all of our shit for technology, and I think that is the thing that's holding us back. Because it is some shit. Researchers said they were in some village in India where they were using a fucking, like, these people were like concentrating their sound into this big ass, heavy ass rock to lift it up onto this cliff with like nothing touched. I know you seen this shit, nigga. We be watching this.
I seen that shit,
yeah. So I'm just like, bruh, it's acoustic levitation is real, and if you can
exactly, they know how to work with energy,
that shit. Yeah. So yeah, we 100% lost that shit when we got technology. Now, was it a war with the aliens? You know, I'm just doing my conspiracy theory shit. Now, is the war with the aliens where we just lost that technology? Because again, how the fuck did we? Even if it is a flood, yo, where's the technology?
Yeah.
Like, how do we not know, like, who caused this? How do we not? It's certain.
It was a war.
It's certain cultures on this planet that have actual knowledge and stories of what was going on before the, 12,000 years ago. So that's why I'm just sitting here like, nah, we definitely could find out what was going on back then, but it's a big ass cover up. Religion, one, is way too much money, and two,
that's what I was about to say. Religion is like, it's what caused us to lose our gifts and shit. Cause we start looking to outside sources and shit instead of ourselves.
Bro, you might have said some profound shit. Might have said some profound shit right there, man. All right, let's get back into it. Let's get these last 6 minutes.
Yeah,
I know I just said that, but
also in the order of the pyramids and how they're all laid out on the plateau, and that's just one example, right, within Egypt.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think that box in the King's Chamber is really was, and what's the reality of the Ark of the Covenant?
That box is, first of all, the box that's inside the King's Chamber is not a sarcophagus. Okay, I can't fit in it. I'm 6'4". My knees would be slightly bent.
Yeah.
And so I think, if you're gonna take the energy and the time to hoist that heavy granite up there, at least make it a size that maybe somebody can really fit in there, right? So, but also the way it's set up in there, you can see it's off-centered, which means it might have been added later. It almost seems like an addition to the Great Pyramid, not something that was originally built into the structure. And then you look at the dimensions. So I said, this is interesting. Let me look at the dimensions of this thing. So I look at the dimensions of this probably in 2014 is when I found out the dimensions of that box, of that rose granite box inside the King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid are the exact same dimensions of the Ark of the Covenant from the biblical text. And that kind of blew me away. I was like, wait a minute. The Ark of the Covenant would fit directly, smoothly right inside this box. I don't think there's any coincidences. So when you begin to realize, well, what is the Ark of the Covenant? It's a power source.
We'll get to that.
And it's a power source that gives off some type of radiation. And we know this because if you didn't have on lead plates, according to the biblical information, you had to have on lead plates, rubber boots, and all this stuff on before you even touched it. And if you didn't, if you touched it without the rubber, guess what happened? You died instantly. This is in the Bible. So it's telling me electrical charge And if you were around it too much without the right coverings and protection, your hair would fall out, your eyes would bleed, you would become sick. Sounds
That's
like
radiation.
radiation sickness to me. So this thing might have been both electrical and radioactive at the same time. Perfect to put inside the king's chamber, especially if, why would they add it? Especially if maybe the Great Pyramid's power generation system in some weird way had begun to malfunction because of the lack of water from the Nile running underneath it in the aquifer. So now we have to find a way to boost this thing. So we put the Ark of the Covenant in there. Because everywhere where they talk about the Ark, it's exuding immense power. It's repelling troops and army troops with these energy beams coming out of it in the Bible. You put that inside of the Great Pyramid, all of a sudden it becomes the energy source. And the reason why I believe that Moses was chased is when he left, and I believe that was actually Pharaoh Akhenaten, in my opinion, he took the Ark with him. It was like, oh man, we got to get the Ark back. That's a source of power for Egypt. But without that, we're back in the Stone Ages. Go get the Ark. And they chased him to go get the Ark. That's what I believe it was really all about.
All right, so we're going to stop it right there real quick because he was cooking up way too much for me to just let that shit go by. He said a lot.
He did.
A lot of that shit made sense.
It did.
A lot of
breaking that shit down.
Yeah, so all right, so now that he said that about the water rushing and the radiation, I was looking at that shit. And the box he's talking about is a burnt, like they said for that kind of brown to get on that box, it had to be some kind of explosion in that room. And this is not him saying that. This is a whole nother person saying that. And a whole nother person never said, they never said anything about the dimensions of it or it being the Ark of the Covenant. But now that they put that shit together, and you know, we both looked at shit about the Ark, and I'm pretty sure, you know, like, it's radioactive, you know, so it has to generate some kind of power or heat. That would make so much fucking sense that they had water running under a megastructure. Because I'm sitting here like, well, it would fucking sink if you had it over top of an aquifer. Like, think about that. That's a heavy ass structure. Why would you put that over an aquifer?
Yeah.
But then they got all of the other structures in fucking Egypt was over aquifers, so that you couldn't rob them shits.
Exactly.
So I'm just sitting there now like, yo, all right, so this shit was like a fucking all around power plant. If we just sitting here running off of what they said, if we going exactly by what they saying, this shit was an all around power plant, and it was using all kinds of ways to, you know, it was using the water to generate electricity going in one direction and still cool the arc off in another part of, like, that's fucking crazy to think about. Like, to bring all of that together in one area.
Yeah.
And now I'm just sitting here thinking, all right, another person mentioned those coils. And I know they think we talking, I don't give a fuck at this point, nigga. Like, maybe they get this far, maybe they don't. A lot of people don't get this far. But they mentioned the coils, right? The coil, don't you ever seen, you know about planting plants and shit, right? Like,
yeah.
You know about how to ground plants and make them grow bigger?
Yeah.
That's what that shit
copper coil.
like. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to make it more conductive, that's what that shit looks like.
Anytime you coil something, that's energy, electricity and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
and
now,
water, coils and water, man, come on now.
So I'm just sitting here thinking like, if they got all of this, if they already knew this, then they're probably getting the because you essentially just pulling the electricity out of the ground, whatever ground charge there is. But if you got coils big enough, you can get a lot of fucking electricity out of that, bro.
The electricity comes from the ground anyway. When the lightning strike, it comes from the ground up.
Think about how big, like seriously, think about how big your plant, like seriously, think about this shit, right? If you pulling that much energy out, you could essentially reforest a desert, nigga. Just off of simply, I mean, you won't be able to have
all the pyramids all over the earth was power plants. That was free energy. That's how they did it.
And so And because they did say that the fucking Sahara Desert was a rainforest back in the day, and the
Exactly.
Amazon was the desert, and they flipped. And so
Yeah, flip. Yeah.
but yeah, so like if they can do that shit with all of them being completely aligned. Remember, I was saying that shit. I guess we ring like a bell when we get on that certain frequency. Then if we can get all of the places on our planet aligned, then it would definitely be free energy all over. Imagine fucking cell phones not needing a battery.
Exactly.
Imagine you not needing a battery for anything. Your car just go.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy to fucking think about, yo. But yeah, I ain't even.
That's why you want to start a war.
Bruh, you know what's crazy? I think they going to war. We could go down this conspiracy rabbit hole, but let's just keep it on the pyramids. Yeah, man, it's a nice little. We gonna have another episode of this for y'all niggas, cause
part 2 coming.
Yeah, part 2 coming soon. But like, this is what like, I just can't think about it being a fucking pharaoh's tomb anymore. Like, they need to dig and find out if this shit is really like real, because that make too much fucking sense. And like they said, who built it?
Exactly.
Who built it? Because if that's the top of it, nigga, if that's the top of it, and none of our machinery can get to it, then who the fuck built it?
And what else is under the dirt? If that's the top of it.
Let's go to the fucking Easter Island niggas. You know how they always got that picture of the heads on the island, and then they always got the body under it and shit. Dig them niggas up now. Let's just see if there's a whole body attached to that. So, like, yeah, let's be.
Man, you dig it up. Marvel Eternals. See that movie?
Yeah. That movie was fucking trash, bro. Ah, man, that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, let's get back to this real quick, and then we can.
So fascinating. I mean, man, the energy there is just insane.
Oh yeah, it is.
From laying in that box, whatever it is, which I did, and then also going into there's a little like chamber you can stand in on the way to the king's chamber, right?
The antechamber.
Yeah,
it's called the antechamber. It magnifies your voice.
Yeah, man, I like owned and toned in there, and it was like I did it with a couple other people. I could only fit a few people.
Yeah,
and it was so powerful, like the resonant, coherent energy that like every cell in my body was just like bursting. It was pretty intense.
It's crazy. I just made a post about that today, actually, this morning. It's crazy, about the antechamber. Just a little meme on my YouTube community. But yeah, that place is powerful, man. That
because when you sit and you actually sit with yourself and you tap your body into, I guess the earth. This shit sounds so like earthy, but when you tap your body into the energy of the earth and your surroundings, bro, you really start to like, become one with it.
Yeah. You saw vibrating my energy. It's a unified field and shit.
Yeah.
Like people think it's air. Like, nah, this is energy that you put floating your hand through and shit.
Yeah, like that shit is like true aura, yo. That shit is like true aura.
Resonance. And the resonance inside the king's chamber, inside that box, it's like the 2-to-1 ratio. When you start ohming or you gong the box, it creates this crazy resonance. And some people have, out-of-body experiences.
Yeah, and also in the subterranean chamber with that, there's that small like little tunnel that I called. Have you crawled through that? Because you're a pretty big guy.
I went down there till it got to the sand.
Yeah,
and then maybe another 20 meters would have been the drop down, another 30, like straight down. So I got to the sand part where the rails ran out.
Right.
And I was like, oh man, this is getting small down here.
Yeah, so there's that which keeps going down, which potentially connects to the other pyramids or something. Like we don't know, but then there's also that small little tunnel that's like I don't know, maybe 30 meters that you can crawl to the end of, and it's a dead end. Which is
I don't want to be the nigga to step on the trap they didn't find yet, though. I watched too many movies that feel like, I mean, I'ma step on some shit that they just didn't find. Maybe I'm the heavy nigga that day that stepped on it, but I'ma just unlock a plague or something. The minute I walk in there, the doors is gonna shut and mummy's gonna fucking run. Yeah, no. Fuck no, nigga. If I'm going in there, somebody else gotta be in there with me, and it can't be my wife. I gotta have another nigga in there with me so that, I mean, if I get caught up by anything, which it shouldn't be nothing, we can box. Like, that's it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to go in there and get jumped by no Tomb Raiders or nothing like that. Nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm good. Them niggas don't play fair.
Just granite
Right.
crystal
Right,
just like
right.
above you, and
But yeah, man.
isn't
I do
just
it, but
insane,
It's
wild
insane.
experience to actually feel
I
experientially
would
instead of
feel
just
weird
talking about
being
it.
in there.
And to be inside of that time dilation bubble, because the Great Pyramid, the 2 million plus blocks of stone, is so much mass, it creates a time dilation bubble. So anybody that's within the direct, vicinity of the Great Pyramid or inside of it, you're in a time bubble. So people outside that bubble experience time slightly differently than you at the time, while you're in there.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Must be like really subtle but calculatable in terms
Yeah, it's
of the difference.
calculatable. And
Yeah.
it's very minute, but it's calculable. They've calculated it. Yeah.
Man, didn't think that was coming. It's its own fucking time bubble. So now we
Yeah.
creating whole new spaces of time within time and space.
Mm-hmm.
Nigga, that's a bar.
Yeah.
Nigga, that's a bar.
Now it's just-
Yeah, I'm gonna write
It
that shit
changed the
down.
definition of time. It changed the definition of time now. So it's like,
Anyway.
all right, like,
Yeah, nah, seriously though, like, this shit lends itself to say that, like, everything we believe in has been fed to us as lies.
yeah.
And if we start peeling back shit, like, if we start to dig and find out that this shit is real, because I'm not gonna sit here and say it's real yet. 100%, I want to believe all of it. But until we start digging for something, I still gotta lean on the air on the side of, all right, I believe part of the shit you say. But it makes so much sense. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I'm not slightly convinced already. But the skeptical side of me is like, all right, but we haven't seen shit yet. And we need to, if this is that, then Buddy gotta step out of the way and let us dig or whatever we gotta do to figure that shit out.
They ain't gonna let us dig. I believe this shit. I don't trust the 1% that run the world and shit. You know, they be telling us anything and shit.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, the skeptic part of me is the only reason the skeptic part of me is even going to say something about this is only because Buddy's there to control the narrative.
Yeah.
And he also had the same problem with the nigga Graham Hancock when he said that the pyramids was older than what they were. But now they friends. So that's why I'm like, I'm inclined to believe this shit because it's, it makes so much more sense. The brownish tone on the box inside the King's Chamber or wherever he was talking about, the granite box where the Ark of the Covenant, that makes so much fucking sense if you start to corroborate all the other stories.
Exactly. Yep.
And like that shit, oh man, this is crazy, man.
You read the Bible different and shit. It's like, all right, the Bible is like actually allegorical and shit.
Yeah, like it makes you start to look at other things differently, and just kind of piece it all together versus pit it against each other. Because the stuff in the Bible, that story isn't as long as the I don't want to fuck their religion up. What the Indian religion? Again, I'm out the Buddhist religion.
Buddhism, Hindu.
Yeah, Hindu. I ain't want to fuck it up. Yeah. Hindu. The Hindu religion. I think is the oldest right now that we know.
I believe so. Yeah,
it's
Hindu.
Like, almost was it
something like that?
6,000 years old or something like. They have like actual paper. Like you can go and check your lineage on paper out there in India in certain areas. Like they have that. Like I watched the CNN nigga do that the other, like a couple years ago. But like Like you can trace yourself back. So they have a lot of history, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they
So,
hold the
like,
history. Yeah.
It's not to pit it against each other. It's just one story being told in one area that might have spread to another area at another
And
time.
got told
Another
different.
story was being told differently, and you couldn't
Mhm.
communicate it the same way.
That's what religion is. It's just all one religion told differently.
So yeah, I mean, we over here
One story told differently.
we over here breaking barriers and shit. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but like that would make sense, bro. And I don't know what all the fucking religions on earth, but like that would make sense. And was it Christianity
Yeah.
is the youngest
Yep.
of the major religions,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah. So yeah, like from our perspective, everything would be skewed regardless if you came up under that book, I would say.
Yeah. Exactly. But
And
once you like read other shit, like, hold on, this sound like this. This sound like that. This sound like this. It all sound the same.
I sound like one of them Hotep niggas, but I need to get on some of you niggas next, nigga. Do the knowledge, nigga.
Get the knowledge.
Do the math, nigga. Do the knowledge, nigga. Like,
Right. Read a book, you know?
But yeah, nah. Like, this shit was actually kind of constructive, even though he's making out jokes here and there and whatnot. But I mean, you got anything else to put in on this? Before I close this shit out.
I ain't got nothing else. Hey, the truth is coming out, 2025, things being revealed.
Yeah. Yo, Cat was not lying.
Yeah, he was
not lying, bro. Cat was not lying at all, man. So, hey,
listen.
Much About Nothing podcast, man. Swerve,
Yeah.
Nova, Henry. I wish he could have been on tonight, but hey, man, we'll catch him another day, man.
Yeah.
We out.